Thank you. Next question on the right, please.
Hi, I'm Catherine Andreakou from Cinema Magazine Greece. My question is for Mr. Ledger. First of all, congratulations on a great film. It's kind of similar to the previous one because it's kind of a roller coaster these last couple of years for you. It's from one blockbuster and light comedies to very dark films, from Master's Ball to The Grimm. My question is, you seem to be kind of, you seem to feel sort of cool and relaxed about getting off a film, a part that you play. I mean, you said earlier on that you try to forget about it and move on. But playing characters like these, like in Junkie or in Monster Ball, or in, of course, you said earlier on in a statement a few weeks ago that you chose Casanova in order to do something lighter, to take the burden off the Brokeback Mountain role.
Right.
So how difficult is it for you to engage to a part, however difficult it is, and then to disengage from it?
I don't know. I kind of, in a sense, I liked backing them up like that because you have to call upon the schizophrenic within you, you know. And I like that when it's right on the tail of another job, you have to kind of you have to rely on your instincts. You have to shut it off quickly and pick it up. And also the way that the films were lined up, funnily enough, one film required me to use like this half of myself, and so by the time I got to the end of that film, that was just exhausted, but I had all of this over here ready to use on the next job. Like I couldn't have done Brokeback Mountain and then gone straight into Candy. I just would have it would have burnt me out. I wouldn't have wanted to cry. But going from Brokeback Mountain to Casanova, all I wanted to do was eat pasta and drink wine and float around on boats, you know. I didn't want to take myself seriously, or life, or work, or acting, or him, you know. And it kind of worked out that way. It just did. You know, before Brokeback Mountain was Lords of Dogtown, and I had false teeth and a wig, and I was stupid and loud and obnoxious, I guess, at times. But it was they were all different parts of myself, and I wasn't doing the same thing, and so it was kind of. And going into it, I knew how to play them all. As soon as you read the script, you should know what to do, and that's like how you make your decisions. Is when you read it, you know what to do or you don't. If you really have to search for it, then you probably shouldn't do it. You know, like when you read it, you should see it all and feel it all, and it should just be very natural to you. And then once you do that, I just like kind of had a pile of 5 scripts, and I was like, okay, can people sort out like how I can do this in the year? And they did, and so I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the adrenaline of it, and once I got to the end, I just crumbled into a big hump, and that was a year ago, and I'm not planning to work for another year. I'm just gonna like, kind of rest and recuperate and kind of suck in some more life to spit out again.
I'm not sure how it is for you, Heath, but I think for me too, the heavier the character, it comes in like a freight train and it leaves like a freight train. Like I know when we did Candy,
explosive, like
yeah,
that.
completely. I mean, as soon as we launched into that, boom, we were inside it. And then 10 weeks later, you know, we have a drink after rap and it's gone. Yeah, because it's so big and heavy in itself that you exhaust it to its 100th degree within that moment, and then when it's over, you're like, whoosh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's true. But it was like a marathon.
Yeah, it
but
was.
I like marathons.
I felt like I was on a train, a big train. Yeah.
Thank you. 2 more questions on the left.
Harry Segui from African Refugee News. I would like to ask the novelist, why do you portray such parents that are so naive and so that they leave their daughter flowing in heroin, they don't stop her, they don't fight him? And then the second question is for Ledger. Ledger. Oh, no, please.
Yeah, it was good.
Did you prepare your speech for the Oscar?
Actually, your question is better directed to Neil, because in the novel, the parents barely exist. One short scene and another paragraph, and it was Neil's desire to explore the realm of family and silence that opened out these characters and that made them significant characters in the film. That was a wonderful journey for me of an expanded adaptation, but I think it's more appropriate for Neil to talk about that.
I shall. Passing the buck. Yeah, as Luke said, like there are a number of films that use the kind of tragic trajectory of heroin addiction as their sort of structural core, and we wanted Candy somehow to come from a different place, and it seemed to me that the silence that surrounds addiction, and particularly the silence of friends and family, is a really interesting place for a camera to sit, if you like, and that I was particularly keen for Luke and I to open up the family around Abbie's character Candy, to look at parental love and parental control and the destructiveness of parental control, but also like what happens when you really love someone but you're afraid of confronting the truth. It's not that they are simply sitting back and watching this train crash happen to their daughter. That's what happens. You know, the most loving parents in the world, if the child is following this course, can do nothing, and intervention can only often make it worse, often. And the parents are struggling with that very real dilemma, and also the dilemma of, how do they acknowledge it? What happens when you do acknowledge something? And that sort of tension between them and their daughter and their son-in-law is like this kind of fascinating, cancerous silence and struggle that really makes great drama, I think. That's why it was of interest.
Thank you. Another question? On the left? Yes, you, sir.
Lou Irwin, Studio Briefing. To Keith Ledger. There's been published speculation that Brokeback Mountain was delayed in Germany because it would interfere with the momentum of the movie. That was felt that it would do so poorly here that it would break the momentum of the film. And there does seem to be, part of the German culture that even heterosexual affection is rarely shown here in this country. Well, I mean, how do you respond to such people who suggest that this is disgusting?
Oh. Well, I don't know. I think I think it's a real shame. I think it's immature, for one, really immature. But I think it's an incredible shame that people go out of their way to discuss or to voice their disgust, I should say, or negative opinions about the way two people wish to love one another. I mean, come on. I mean, at least voice your opinions on how two people show hate and violence and anger towards each other. Isn't that more important? I think so. So I don't know, and it doesn't really concern me. I think it's a shame, but I also feel that I also feel like it'll surprise people. It's not particularly a story. I mean, it's obviously about two men in love, and it's obviously gay themed, and it's very easily labeled. But unfortunately, people are very quick in life to label something that they're uncomfortable with. The pure fact of it is it transcends a label. It's human. It's a story of two human beings, two souls that are in love. It's like, get over the fact that there's two men. That's the point. The movie is not a story about an epidemic or a virus or something that can be cured in hospital. We're showing that love between two men is just as infectious and emotional and strong and pure as it is with heterosexual love. And if you can't understand that, then just don't go see the movie. It's okay. We don't care. It's like, deal with it in your own private life. Don't voice it out, It's like, we don't want to know, and it's really boring and old and whatever, But we're very proud of it, and I think it's transcended that, and so,